Shodabhiyo Dukala Davamana Param Ristamatyam Tato Dutagopya Yudantamuhorne cha yugmam rijantam Karam bhoja yugmena satanganetam Muhusvasakam pachiye kankakanta Sita gaivadamodaram bhaktivadham Iti Driksvalilabhirananda kunde Sagoshamni majantam akhyapayantam Tariye shitakeshu bhakta chitatvam Puna prematastam satavriti vande Varam deva moksham na mokshavadim va Nachanyam vineham varesharabhiya Niram te vapurnata gopala balam Sadame manasya virastam kimanyay Niram te mukham bojam atyanta nilar Vritam kuntalai snigdharaktaischa gopya Muhushtum vitam bimbarakta dadame Manasya virastam alam lakshalabhay Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukkha Jalabdhi Magnam Kripadrishti Vishyati Dinam Bhatanu Grihani Shamamagyamikakshi Drishya Kuberatmajo Padha Murtyaiva Yadvat Vayamochito Bhakti Bhajo Krito Cha tata prema bhaktim svakame prayachta namokshe graho me stidhamodareha. Namaste studamne spuradiptidamne Kariyodadayata vishvasyadamne. Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantadilaya Devaya Tubhyam. Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantadilaya Devaya Tubhyam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Controller, who possesses an eternal form of blissful knowledge, whose glistening earrings swing to and fro, who manifested himself in Gokula, who stole the butter that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters of their storerooms, and who then quickly jumped up and ran in retreat in fear of Mother Yashoda, but was ultimately caught. To that Supreme Lord Sri Damodar I offer my humble obeisances.
Upon seeing his mother's whipping stick, He cried and rubbed his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes were fearful and his breathing quick, and as Mother Yashoda bound his belly with ropes, he shivered in fright and his pearl necklace shook. To the Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, who is bound with his devotees' love, I offer my humble obeisances.
O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for liberation, nor eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon. My only prayer is that your childhood pastimes may constantly appear in my mind. O Lord, I do not even want to know your feature as Paramatma, simply wish that your childhood pastimes may ever be enacted in my heart.
O Lord, the cheeks of your blackish lotus face, which is encircled by locks of curling hair, have become reddened like bimba fruit due to Mother Yashoda's kisses. What more can I describe than this? Millions of opulence are of no use to me, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind.
O Lord Damodar, in your form as a baby, Mother Yashoda bound you to a grinding stone with rope for tying cows. You then freed the sons of Kuvera, Manigriva, and Nalakuvara, who were cursed to stand as at trees, and you gave them the chance to become your devotees. Please bless me in the same way. I have no desire for liberation into your effulgence.
O Lord, the entire universe was created by Lord Brahma, who was born from your abdomen, which was bound with rope by Mother Yashoda. To this rope I offer my humble obeisances. I offer my obeisances to you, most beloved Radharani, and to your unlimited pastimes.
Radha Vihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Om Vishnupat Paramahansa Parivrajakacharya Sutra Shata Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki. Jaya Om Vishnupat Paramahansa Parivrajakacharya Sutra Shata Shri Srimati Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki. Nam Nanta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Syama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki. Sri Jagannath Puri Purukshottama Kshetra Dham Ki, Ganga Mai Ki, Yamuna Mai Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Srimati Tulsi Devi Maharani Ki, Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Shri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Well, good morning, everyone. Today we will have a celebration for Prabhupada's disappearance day at 11 o'clock. But also during the Srimad Bhagavatam class, I will take some time to read a few things about Srila Prabhupada, just to glorify him through his teaching of his disciples. And so I will read the introduction to the chapter 16 of Srimad Bhagavatam, and the first verse will be, the class for the first verse will be given by the speaker tomorrow, whoever is giving the class. So, chapter 17. No? Yes. Thanks. So chapter 17 is the descent of the river Ganges. So we have a 3-paragraph summary. The 17th chapter describes the origin of the Ganges River and how it flows in and around Ilavrita Varsha. There is also a description of the prayers Lord Shiva offers to Lord Sankarshan, part of the quadruple expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Vishnu once approached Bali Maharaj while the king was performing a sacrifice. The Lord appeared before him as Trivikrama or Vamana and begged alms from the king in the form of three steps of land. With 2 steps, Lord Vamana covered all 3 planetary systems and pierced the covering of the universe with the toes of his left foot. A few drops of water from the causal ocean leaked through his hole and fell on the head of Lord Shiva, where they remained for 1,000 millenniums. These drops of water are the sacred Ganges River. It first flows onto the heavenly planets, which are located on the soles of Lord Vishnu's feet. The Ganges River is known by many names, such as the Bhagirathi and the Jahnavi. It purifies Dhruva Loka and the planets of the 7 sages, because both Dhruva and the sages have no other desire than to serve the Lord's lotus feet. So next paragraph. The Ganges River, emanating from the lotus feet of the Lord, inundates the heavenly planets, especially the moon, and then flows through Brahmapuri atop Mount Meru. Here the river divides into 4 branches, known as Sita, Alakananda, Chakshu, and Bhadra, which then flow down to the ocean of salt water. The branch known as Sita flows through Shekhara Parvata and Gandha Madana Parvata, and then flows down to Bhadra Shwabarsha, where it mixes with the ocean of salt water in the west. The Chakshu branch flows through Malyavanugiri and, after reaching Ketumala Barsha, mixes with the ocean of salt water in the west. The branch known as Bhadra flows onto Mount Meru, Mount Kumuda, and the Nila, Shweta, and Sringavan mountains before it reaches Kurudesha, where it flows into the ocean of salt water in the north. The Alakananda branch flows through Brahmalaya, crosses over many mountains, including Hemakuta and Himakuta, and then reaches Bharata Barsha, where it flows into the southern side of the ocean of salt water. Many other rivers and their branches flow through the 9 Barshas. Next paragraph. The tract of land known as Bharata Barsha is the field of activities, and the other 8 Barshas are for persons who are meant to enjoy heavenly comfort. In each of these 8 beautiful provinces, the celestial denizens enjoy various standards of material comfort and pleasure. A different incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead distributes His mercy in each of the 9 tapas of Jambudvip. Last paragraph. In the Ilavrita Varsha, Lord Shiva is the only male. There he lives with his wife Bhavani, who is attended by many maidservants. If any other male enters that province, Bhavani curses him to become a woman. Lord Shiva worships Lord Sankarshan by offering various prayers, one of which is as follows. My dear Lord, please liberate all your devotees from material life and bind all the non-devotees to the material world. Without your mercy, no one can be released from the bondage of material existence. Om Ajnanatimiram Dasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuru Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangulangayate Girim Yatkripat Maham Bande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswasti Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyade Shatarine Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we'll have another chapter with, this is a beautiful chapter with the description of the glories of River Ganges. But also it's a challenging one in the sense of that we were reading the last chapter, and in many devotees sometimes express that it's difficult to accept all this description of the universe, at least because they have a background in science, for example. So, and also to present these teachings to some audiences may be a challenge. Some people may say, how you can believe in that Lord Vamanadeva touched the cover of the universe and then Ganges is coming from there, when rivers are coming from mountains. We may be confronted with that, and then how do we explain? So it's not my purpose to give you an explanation. But since this Prabhupada's disappearance day, I wanted to read some, in the mood of appreciating Srila Prabhupada, part of a chapter of the book Prabhupada Appreciation by Sarupa Das Goswami. It's a really nice and important book for ISKCON devotees. And there is two chapters whose title is Appreciating Controversies Teaching of Srila Prabhupada. Like how to appreciate these teachings. So I'll read some sections. So I read this book many years ago, and at least in my experience was very helpful to lead with different statements of scriptures and Prabhupada. Okay. There are some different and apparently contradictory sections in Srila Prabhupada's books. Do you agree? Okay. That had proven to be dangerous to a devotee with weak faith, or that create problems when preaching to the public. So two issues. Devotee's faith and also how to present these teachings. In this chapter, he's explaining that he will attempt to bring some ways to look and to deal with these statements. There should not be anything we have to doubt in our philosophy. That's the main idea he's writing. So there shouldn't be anything we have to doubt in our philosophy. Neither should we feel embarrassed or fearful to the public. So we have to keep in mind that. That's the main message. That there is nothing that we should doubt, at the same time, nothing to be embarrassed about the philosophy. But at the same time, we are feeling sometimes, maybe feel embarrassed or may feel doubts. So that is a bad sign. It's good to recognize these things, but it means that the devotees are, when they have these things, are worried. Like, I don't like to have this type of doubts. But it's healthy to acknowledge those. So by transcendental knowledge, one can remain steady in his convictions. But by mere academic knowledge, one can be easily deluded and confused by apparent contradictions. It is the realized soul who is actually self-controlled, because he is surrendered to Krishna. He is transcendental because he has nothing to do with mundane scholarship. So that's from Bhagavad Gita, purport, Prabhupada, chapter 6, text 8. So the Vedas contain apparently contradictory passages who are enjoined not to touch, for example, everyone knows the example of the stool, cow down, and we shouldn't touch a stool, but we can touch a cow down a stool and we will be even purified. Then also we are told that animal bones are impure, and yet we begin and end the arati by blowing a conch. So there are apparent contradictions that we accept, and for example, cow stool has been proven to be antiseptic. So these apparent contradictions, we can see how the philosophy is not, by understanding these contradictory apparent contradictions in the philosophy, we can see that actually the presentation of the philosophy is not disorder. There are no really contradictions. The Vedas are axiomatic, we accept that. They are perfect beyond the defect of human reason. Even if they appear to be contradictory, a Vedic follower accepts the Vedas on the authority of the Supreme Lord, However, when some of these apparently contradictory statements are carefully studied and analyzed, they can be seen as not contradictory. For example, doctors have analyzed cow dung and found that it actually contains antiseptic properties. While a devotee may not require proof from the scientist to substantiate Vedic statements, such proof can be found. So, he deals here with different contradictions, like one is Grihastha life, another is the moon. The man, Prabhupada said the man didn't go to the moon. So, as a summary of how he deals with Grihastha controversy, for example, he explained that there are certainly statements, many statements, negative statements about Grihastha life, but there are also positive statements. So, the devotees are advised to look at Prabhupada's teaching on context, trying to understand what point, what principle is trying to be transmitted, given. But at the same time, don't negate those statements. Don't try to only present the positive statements just to being afraid of the audience, but present the teachings as they are in a broad context. So one example is, it is important for the devotees of Prabhupada to understand the essence of Prabhupada's teaching on the Grihastha issue and other apparently contradictory passages. It is not our purpose here to exhaustively treat this issue, but to offer method of understanding the conclusion of Prabhupada's teaching on these things, with some tools, some skills. One solution to this particular problem is that Prabhupada used the word Grihastha flexibly, sometimes referring to the materialistic householder, and other times referring to the spiritualist. He also used words like pure devotee and karma yogi with the same flexibility we see in Bhagavad Gita. Those who have read Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, Bhagavad Gita, then sometimes they are bewildered why Prabhupada didn't brought all this terminology. But sometimes it seems that Prabhupada means Grihastha in his criticisms. In a purport in the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, he described Grihastha life as a dark well. Here Prabhupada does not seem to be distinguishing between materialistic and spiritual marriage. The purport is a strong warning about the dangers of marriage life in any form. Although this statement is forceful and condemning, it should not be held up as a contradiction to more moderate or even opposite statements. Prabhupada's purports present a balance of thickly woven commentaries that contain all aspects of Vaishnava philosophy. That is why the different statements have to be read in their own context, as well as from within the context of the whole of Prabhupada's teaching on a particular subject. The more that one truly studies Srila Prabhupada's books, the more he will understand the different contexts and patterns and develop a mature understanding of Prabhupada's teachings. Another way to solve this apparent contradiction is to find a statement by Prabhupada in which he deals with the contradiction itself and gives us a solution. These key passages should always be kept in mind as they help solve problems that may arise. Giving an example, he quotes Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 31st chapter, text 42. Prabhupada explained, in these instructions of Lord Kapila Dev, it is explained that not only is woman the gateway to hell for man, but man is also the gateway to hell for woman. It is a question of attachment. A man becomes attached to a woman because of her service, her beauty, and many other assets, and similarly a woman becomes attached to a man for his giving her a nice place to live, ornaments, dress, and children. It is a question of attachment for one another. As long as either is attached to the other for such material enjoyment, the woman is dangerous for the man, and the man is also dangerous for the woman. But if the attachment is transferred to Krishna, both of them become Krishna conscious, and then marriage is very nice. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore recommends Nasaktasya Visayam Yatarha Nupayunjata Nirbanda Krishna Sambandhi Yukta Vairagam Uchate. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.25. Men and women should live together as householders in relationship with Krishna, only for the purpose of discharging duties in service of Krishna. Engage the children, engage the wife, and engage the husband, all in Krishna conscious duties, and then all these bodily or material attachment will disappear. Since the via medium is Krishna, the consciousness is pure, and there is no possibility of degradation at any time. So, similar, apparently contradictory issues, one can look for key passages like this one. So there are one side, another side, and also there are statements that bring both sides together and deal with the contradiction. So there are many, in any issue, almost there are, we may find this type of purpose in Srila Prabhupada, and then we will have a better understanding. And also Prabhupada sometimes deals with issues with his disciples, and that's another skill another way to look at these teachings, is to see how Prabhupada deals with the teachings in the day-to-day life. For example, he explained that it's enough to analyze Prabhupada's books to find balance in his statements, but also helpful is to watch how he personally dealt with the issues they aroused among his disciples. During the Grihastha controversy in ISKCON in 1966, Prabhupada explained that the main consideration was spiritual advancement, not one's ashram or status in life. To prove this point, he quotes Lord Chaitanya, Kiva Vipra Kiva Nyasi Shudra Kenanaya E Krishna Tattva Veta Sei Guru Haya. Whether one is a Brahmana, a sannyasi, or a Shudra, regardless of what he is, he can become a spiritual master if he knows the science of Krishna. There was a famous controversy among Grihasthas and Brahmacharis at all times of ISKCON, and Prabhupada also deal very expertly with that and quoting this verse and trying to minimize the bodily concept of life in his disciples, the way they were understanding. So, of course, many of these apparently contradictory issues are subtle and complicated. It is not that Prabhupada did not take a position, but he purely revealed even the gray areas of various situations. If we approach the spiritual master teaching without a partisan motive, we will be able to see all sides of the issue and how Prabhupada instructed according to persons, time, and circumstances. So neither is Krishna consciousness a game of logic. By presenting all the different shades of Grihastha life versus Brahmachari life, for example, Prabhupada has eliminated our need to waste time speculating on them. He was not tied to a dogmatic consistency, maintaining a particular viewpoint regardless of individual applications. As Emerson said, a foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of small minds. Prabhupada was a Mahatma, very broad-minded. Another aspect of understanding contradictory passages is to appreciate Prabhupada as a teacher. Just because he stressed some particular point at a given time does not negate its opposite. So Prabhupada sometimes would say one thing, like even in giving instructions, he would say to one disciple, sannyasi should travel, and to another disciple he would say, sannyasi should stay here. And that it's not one statement will contradict the other statement. Both statements are right according to the context that Prabhupada is speaking. So, and now going to another contradictory issue is in science. He said, although Prabhupada's statements are consistent within themselves, appear to directly conflict with material science. That's another aspect. He said that the moon was farther away from the earth than the sun, was farther away from the earth than the sun, that man could not land on the moon for lack of pious credits, that the Vedas were written down 5,000 years ago, a time that scientists claim to be pre-civilized, and that life comes from life. Sometimes he would concede a point for the sake of argument and still defeat the scientific viewpoint. In one conversation, he said, "If you can go and land in the moon and come back, that may be a pleasant thing for you, but we don't think it is a very nice thing. If I go in New York border and see and come back and I am not allowed to enter, why should I take so much trouble? It is useless trouble." But immediately after saying that, Prabhupada reverted to the full argument that they could not have gone to the moon in any sense. Prabhupada said, "If anyone actually goes there, he will not like to come back. Why live there? Because the place is more comfortable than this place. The duration of life on the moon is more, that the standard of living is fine. Everything is more advanced." So at other time, Prabhupada will say that they landed on Rahu, like we read that, I think yesterday, an impious and invisible planet. But he always returned to the full argument that they did not go to the moon. Of course, this is so contrary to what the population experienced through the media, they experienced, that it is almost sacrilegious to question it. As devotees, we have to have faith in the Vedic version, which is free of the 4 defects. And accepting the Vedic version saves time. If you spend your time researching the most basic tenet of human existence, you may never find the answer in the world of cheaters and cheated. But if you follow the process of hearing from authority, you can get the right answer before this precious human form of life slips from your grasp. Your mother can authoritatively tell you who your father is. No further research is required. So then he goes on glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam as a source of authority. He said, and the credibility of the acharyas, that they are not ordinary persons and they accepted Srimad Bhagavatam and other scriptures. Then he said, our attachment to Western scientific authority is actually a prejudice. That's correct? Prejudice. A prejudice from our conditioning. Prabhupada cautioned the devotees about this when instructing them to build a Vedic planetarium. Everything is inconceivable, he said. Don't be passed off by your so-called education. It has no value. But this prejudice is tenacious. It clings to our minds and continues to sound like truth. And it can persuade us to reject the authority of the Vedas in favor of modern science. If we can understand that, we should not reject Vedic authority so as to become independent in our thinking, as shown by the version of the scientists. We can begin to eradicate our misconceptions. When Tamal Krishna Maharaj pointed out to Srila Prabhupada that the Srimad Bhagavatam explanation didn't agree with modern travel around the earth, Prabhupada said, "You are prejudiced. You are prejudiced. They have cheated about going to the moon, so how can we believe them?" Also, when Purushottama doubted Prabhupada's insistence that they did not go to the moon, Purushottama was a Prabhupada disciple, Jagannath, I think he explained, that he didn't accept Prabhupada was to the moon. It's very funny in the Prabhupada Lilamrita, the way, because Prabhupada he's in his room receiving a massage, and the devotees, it's the same day in 1969, the same day when the man went to the moon, and they're about to watch this online in live. So they have the TV there and Prabhupada is receiving massage. And at the same point, when the TV is showing the man in the moon, the devotees, everyone is saying, Prabhupada, Prabhupada, this is the man in the moon. And Prabhupada said, this is not the way to massage. Can I show you? So the disciple was massaging, and the devotees were like really bewildered. So Prabhupada started showing how to do the massage, and then he didn't pay any attention, so he sit again, and the devotee was massaging him, and again the image came to the man in the moon, and they said, Prabhupada, Prabhupada, the man in the moon, the man in the moon. And Prabhupada said, that's not the way to massage my head. Again, he showed the disciple. And then the third time, the devotee said, Prabhupada in the moon. Prabhupada said, this is not the moon. He said, where are the trees? Where are the mangoes? Trees. So this devotee Purushottama, he couldn't take that. Like, it was very difficult for him. And then Prabhupada would tease him, like, someone would say, where is Purushottama? He said, he's in the moon. So also when Purushottama doubted, Prabhupada insisted that they did not go to the moon, Prabhupada said, I can understand how he didn't believe me, but how could he doubt the Vedas? Scientific issues in general tend to be very complicated. Devotees like Sadaputa Prabhu had made extensive presentation, we saw one, of the Vedic version in scientific terms, and their work can be studied to get a better understanding. Prabhupada wanted the scientists within ISKCON to confront the issues, but he also warned them to remain faithful to the Bhagavatam version. He said, regarding detail of the universe, be satisfied reading only Bhagavatam. What is the use of reading other books? You are not going there. Simply keep faith that whatever we describe, that is a fact. After all, we are insignificant creatures in the universe. So whether you take it to modern scientists or Shukadeva Goswami, it is inconceivable. It is best to keep the faith in Shukadeva Goswami because actually our only business is to go back home, back to Godhead. So whether Shukadeva Goswami or the modern scientists are right or wrong, it is nothing interesting to us. We want to go back home, back to Godhead. Yantiman Yajino Pimam. This is from later. No, it's Srimad Bhagavatam 1.7. Let's see. Doesn't seem to be a Bhagavatam. I want to check the reference. Don't want to mistake. Yes, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.17.11, purport. Yes, 1.17.11. I'm not wrong. Logic and scientific support may be used as tools to both understand and preach on these difficult issues. Using the jargon of the scientific community is a way to present Krishna consciousness in an authoritative way to persons who lack complete faith in the scriptures. Prabhupada wanted scientific support for his statements. He asserted the Vedic statements as fact, not theories, that absolutely require proof from the scientist. But if Vedic knowledge is presented in the language of science, it will be more acceptable to the mass of people. As Vaishnavas, we accept the deductive process of knowledge. That is, we accept the authority of Krishna as spoken in the Vedas and passed down through the parampara. But Western training is different. We are taught to question authority, although we are forced by our own limitation to accept all kinds of authorities. We are advised to hypothesize and then meander through the realms of so-called knowledge, trying to stay fixed on the goal of our research in order to prove our speculations. That is the inductive method of knowledge, and it can take eons to answer even the simplest question, such as, who am I? Taken to its extreme, a person dedicated to inductive reasoning would be starting at zero in every field of knowledge. He knows nothing for certain until he has gained the experience of his own mind and senses. Actually, the universe is achintya, inconceivable. Certainly, Krishna and the activities of the spiritual world are inconceivable. According to the Mahabharata, inconceivable subject matter is not debatable. It's achintya kalu. Even scientists accept that there is little sense in arguing about the qualities of function of inconceivable nature. Krishna consciousness is simple for those who are simple, and difficult for the crook. When we hear description of the inconceivable Lord and his inconceivable pastimes, we may think, I don't understand all of this. Perhaps by Krishna's grace, it will one day be revealed to me, if he desires. In any case, let me love this inconceivable Lord and serve his devotees. As we practice Bhakti Yoga, our faith will grow and our understanding will increase. The crooked heart will think that Krishna's pastimes are impossible, and for him they will remain so. Simple devotees are actually more intelligent than the scientists because they have understood the main point. I am lower than the grass on the street. Thus they repose their love, faith, and trust in the source of knowledge, understanding that without the Lord's mercy, they can never see beyond the curtains of the three modes of material nature to understand the mystery of Krishna's energy. That is real intelligence as taught by Srila Prabhupada. So this is that's a Sarupa Maharaj giving those. So next time, I hope it will be helpful. I mean, we have heard this before, but it's nice to be reminded. So to end, I wanted to read a poem, and maybe one of you can read, they can have better English, so perhaps, I don't know, Luke, Jaya, anyone. It's a very nice poem, Prabhupada in Chicago, how he boldly preached. So we will have a ceremony on Srila Prabhupada, and we will appreciate him, but I just choose only this point today to appreciate the boldness of Srila Prabhupada in preaching the Vedic point of view, and how bold he was in Chicago. I mean, this is our Acharya. And this poem is like kind of highlighting that mood of Srila Prabhupada, that he was just repeating what he heard. Okay, he's born in Chicago. 12. It's quite a little bit long, but it won't take more than 5 minutes. I think you will enjoy it. Satsvarupa Maharaj. This is from the book Remembering Srila Prabhupada.
Old in Chicago, July 2nd, 1975. He asked the mayor of Evanston to donate a large building, even after being told by the mayor that he wanted it for his city hall. Prabhupada asserted a solution to crime based solely on the transcendental power of the holy name and prasadam to purify the hearts of criminals. When challenged that his plan was like so many religions, Prabhupada replied, "No, we are strictly following, and it is potent." Then he challenged his sannyasi disciples to get out, hold meetings. A sannyasi should do more than ring the temple bells. Not only teach the devotees in class, and not only distribute the books, but speak on the books to important people. Tell them what is lacking, now that they are admitting they are baffled and want to stop crime. Sri Govindadas arranged for the Sheraton Hotel Hall a prasadam buffet, a pillow for Prabhupada, and reporters came. Prabhupada was elegant, aristocratic philosopher in saffron silk. His English usage was clear, but they could not understand him. as he explained Varnashram Dharma. Do you know that what you say goes against everything everything American? But we can train you, said Prabhupada. As you are training engineers, you can train first-class and second-class men. He could have been silent and stayed in Vrindavan. He obtained no selfish pleasure sitting on a pillow in the hotel, which he regarded as a brothel. It was no special treat for him to talk with snappy, irreverent journalists who cannot listen to philosophy for more than 10 seconds before they blow their mental fuses. But he came among them because he and the previous acharyas wanted to help, and now society's leaders were admitting they do not know how to solve crime. As the mayor had remarked to him, we can use a new approach because we are not successful now. But the reporters were not concerned to waste time hearing the Vedas. They were more interested in the Swami's expensive gold watch, and they wrote down snide notes about the adoring nature of Prabhupada's disciples, like flies looking for a sore. The old man they saw, the retired businessman from India, and when, at their request, he spoke about women, then suddenly they had their story. The Swami was a male chauvinist. Walking quickly to the phone or to go write up their stories, the reporters felt rewarded. Instead of spiritual chit-chat, they'd got an angle against the Swami for saying, get this now, women are less intelligent than men. When Prabhupada heard they were putting it on the news, radio, and TV, and that another TV crew was coming out to see him, he was amused and pleased. At least they were saying Hare Krishna. They are not explaining it fully about spiritual equality, said Brahmananda, or about great women in Krishna consciousness. Yes, great women are chaste and faithful, said Prabhupada, like Kunti and Gandhari. All souls are equal, but bodily they are different, and women should be protected from exploitative men. But the feminist TV crew who came into his room knew only the body and demanded all are equal. Then why does the woman bear the child and the man cannot? That one they couldn't answer. But it didn't matter to them. They were too angry to hear him. They wanted liberation through the body, and they thought he was against them. In that case, if they do not like to hear, Prabhupada later said, then let us chant Hare Krishna. That's all.
Right. So that's, I think it's called Ball in Chicago. So that's to finish. Prabhupada on Disappearance Days, we may wonder why we celebrate a Disappearance Day, because it doesn't seem something to celebrate from the... So Prabhupada explained, when he was celebrating Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Disappearance Day, he explained, so he showed his disciple how to observe the day, and he explained that there is no difference between appearance and disappearance on the spiritual level, because for such divine realized souls who are in contact with the eternal soul, their coming and going into this world are both only for the benefit of those who love them. On the appearance days, the difference maybe there is usually a great celebration, and on the disappearance there is the celebration of tears, a celebration in the mood of separation. Appearance means unity, meeting, coming together, and disappearance means the pains of separation. Krishna sometimes is known as Madan Mohan. One definition of this Madan means meeting and Mohan means separation. So Krishna teaches us to love him through meeting with us and then through casting us into the realm of separations. So then there are examples in the scripture of the feelings of the disciple and separation of the Guru, like Raghunath Das Goswami, when Swarup Damodar and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left the war, he was trying to commit suicide by jumping from Govardhan. But later on, he met Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, and they give him another light that he's now living to follow the instruction of Lord Chaitanya. And that gave release to Raghunath Goswami. And Arjuna also, when he found out that Krishna left the world, he was totally dejected. But by remembering the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, he became enlightened again. So therefore, in the disappearance days of Srila Prabhupada, we remember his teachings. Well, we remember every day. But the most important service in separation is to live the teachings and pass that message. Otherwise, as Prabhupada said in some parts of the when Bhishma Dev, we see in past when Bhishma Dev is leaving the body and others, that it's very difficult for the disciple to lose his spiritual master. As many Prabhupada disciples show when we see the film and they are crying. So it's very painful to live without the spiritual master, physical present, but it's very, for the other side, it's very joyful to follow his instruction. Therefore, we see many Prabhupada disciples till nowadays totally joyful and preaching, and it's like they are carrying Srila Prabhupada everywhere because they took the instructions, the Vani, like Arjuna and Raghunath Goswami did. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki.